Should I pursue this product or this business opportunity? Let's talk about a minimum viable product and idea validation. A big thanks to Ryan Wenner, who runs Seneca Woodworking, for authoring this article. What I like is that Ryan dives right into the point. You want to spend as little money and as little time to figure out if you think this is going to be a viable product. There are lots of ways to brainstorm ideas. One of my favorite is what Ryan mentions here, solving a problem that you have in your life. Ryan was a woodworker, and a lot of the tools that they made were things that he wanted to have or use, or thought of a better way to do something. That's how we came up with our modular vise system. It just seemed like a logical product to make, to use, and we realized other people would like it. Ironically, a lot of people think it's a good thing if that product doesn't exist yet, and I would often debate that. And as Ryan mentions here, maybe there's an identical product already available, and if so, you should stop and think, do I have something else to offer? How would my price point and profitability compare with what they're doing? But don't let that deter you. A lot of times I'd rather compete as the better provider or a better product or a different niche with something that's already proven to have market demand than to create something that doesn't exist or that nobody else has thought was worthwhile. It's an easy first step too, because it simply requires a Google search. Go look at what else is out there. Next step, as Ryan mentions, talk to people, but stay away from people that are going to give you biased opinions. You want to talk to real customers. There's such a difference in what people will say when they're trying to please you versus when you're trying to ask them to purchase a product. On that note, the idea of a focus group or a survey, I do not think we will ever do one in the history of our company. I don't believe they're a good use, and there may be certain examples, but let's talk about some much better ways to do it. One of the great ways is leveraging people that are already passionate about this. And this ties into a great concept of idea versus execution. You may have a new idea. That's not what's worth anything. What's worth something is executing on that idea. And in most cases, I believe, generally speaking, you're going to be better off sharing that with a limited group of people to get feedback, to get excitement, to see their reaction, at the risk of the concern of someone's going to steal my idea. Most people aren't going to steal your idea. And if your idea is so good and so easy that someone can steal it that quickly and reduce your interest in that product or business, then don't pursue it, because as soon as you come to market, you're going to invite that same level of competition. For us, this happened with our camera mounts. We knew making GoPro camera mounts that we would be ripped off probably immediately and directly, blatantly, as well as by overseas manufacturers and by design iterations that changed the design a little, but really created a much noisier market where it would be harder for us to differentiate our product. Just accept that as a reality and think about that as you're planning out what you want this business to be. Ryan talks about this idea of crowdsourcing or Kickstartering. It's funny to me that in some respects, running a Kickstarter campaign itself has become a business in terms of understanding the nuances and how to succeed, and frankly takes a huge amount of work. And that's not to say it's not a viable path, but it's something that's going to take a lot of research and front-end work to understand what is involved in a successful Kickstarter campaign. And for me, it makes me want to go back to the former, which is internet forums, user groups, passionate users. And I have this test where if I talk to somebody about something, just mention it casually. You don't have to frame it in the context of you're thinking about bringing a product or service to market, but just mention it. And if they get excited about it or they tell somebody else about it, that should make the light bulb go off on your head to say, hey, I think I'm onto something. And it strips the personal bias, because every entrepreneur loves their own idea. The question is, do other people like it as well? Validation through pay-per-click ads. Okay, now we're getting into some pretty awesome, some pretty creative ways to be smart about this. Pay-per-click ads are those advertisements that pop up when you do a Google search. We go to Google and we type CNC machine. All of these sponsored ads are pay-per-click ads. So yes, if I were to click on one right now, this company would have to pay Google for the fact that I clicked on it. What Ryan is saying here is genius, which is leverage that as a way to conduct true empirical idea validation. Yes, it's going to cost you a few bucks. That's well worth it. See if people click, see if they respond. You're not selling the product yet. You may not have anything to fulfill. You're simply trying to see, do they click on it to learn more? And it's not binary. It's not yes or no to a product. It may be two different versions, or it may be a slightly different nuanced things. It's easy to come up with a lot of ideas. The question is deciding which one should I execute on. Creating a landing page where you've got an email list. See if people sign up. It's a free way to see how much interest is coming here. So you're starting to create your organic SEO, which means when you do have a product to launch and people can buy it versus just clicking on an email list, you'll be one step ahead of leveraging that marketing technique. Keyword searches, another really awesome tool that entrepreneurs need to know about, the Google Keyword Planner. Being able to look at what are the buzzwords. For example, DIY versus how-to. One of those is a much better phrase to use. Google Keyword Planner can help you understand what phrases, what words can help you market your product and go through an idea validation. Some other really awesome tools from folks like Amazon and eBay to look at what's selling, what are the trends, and actual tools within those sites to look at sales statistics. Coming down home stretch, just execute. One of the things I love about our business model and why I started with a Tormach machine in my garage was it let us bring something to market with such little cost. We didn't have to go through the hassles and burdens of outsourcing everything. We could make a product, we could see if it's sold, and if it's sold, we could then work on it, improving it, iterating it, and building out the rest of that business. And finally, listen to your customers. Every product can be made better. It's exciting to do so, whether it's as simple as adjusting a minor detail of a set screw on your product or whether it's a revamp of the packaging. It's balancing that conviction of believing you're already making an excellent product, but recognizing when there are opportunities to improve. So again, I want to thank Ryan for guest authoring this article. Really some great content there, and I think it's great for folks that are just trying to get started and understand, how do I take that first step? I'd like to encourage Ryan to write some more about his story, about the products that they make at Seneca Woodworking and how he has gone through some of the trials and tribulations of being an entrepreneur.